What's up guys, welcome back to another video on my channel, and in today's video I'm gonna walk you through the exact onboarding process that you will have if you decide to become a client with our agency, right? Because this is probably one of the most undervalued and under-implemented things by other agencies, right? They think, oh, let's just clip up your content, start posting videos, and that's how we will get you results. But we do it differently, right? Because we want to know everything about you as a client so we can write content and ideate content based on your tone of voice, your ideal client profile, and your story that we want to tell to the world. So without further ado, this is one of the most important processes that will increase the LTV of our clients and also the results that we can get for our clients, right? Because we know every single thing about you, every single thing about your ICP, and every single thing that we need to know in order to get you the results that you deserve as a client of us, right? So first things first, as soon as you hop off the sales call, you get a nice email from us when we have decided to start working together. And this is where you can review and sign your contract, right? You get a nice little welcome video. Once you've watched the welcome video where I quickly explain who we are and what it is, what we do, you can go to the agreement. I just put a test agreement in here for now. Then you can sign the agreement. Then it starts with the onboarding form. And the onboarding form allows us to know every single piece about you. As you can see here on the screen, it has about 37 questions about you, your life, your Instagram, your TikTok, your YouTube, what you have been through, and the things that you have done in your day-to-day life so far that got you to where you are today. I'm just gonna fill in random answers here so we can get through the form, but we are gonna go through the full form together so you can understand what it is that we ask you and how deep we dive into your life in order to get you the results, right? So you can select what source did you find us from, you can select that you find us from an ad, and then you can select what made you want to work with us, reputation, for example, and then we start diving deep into your life, right? I'm just gonna put some random stuff inside these questions, but we wanna know where you were born. We wanna know everything about your childhood up until the point that you wanna share on social media. Why do we wanna know this? Because we wanna be able to create a story on social media. The story that you have lived in your life all the way from being a child to who you are today, the things that you have been through. Were your parents divorced? Were your brothers and sisters sick? Or did you have a normal growing up? Or did you go to high school? Did you drop out of high school? We want to know everything about it, right? So we want to know your childhood. Then we also want to understand what kind of school did you attend and what were your favorite subjects. So we know what kind of person you are and also how your school life has been. Did you drop out? Did you go to university? Did you only do high school, or were you homeschooled or school online? Whatever the case might be, we need to know it so we understand you as an individual. Then of course your first job, and also maybe even important, what pain that job has caused you. Did you always feel like you were meant to be something more? Did you always feel like you were meant to be something bigger? And that feeling was becoming stronger and stronger and stronger as you were working at this job, right? So then we want to know college or university. Did you attend? What kind of college degree do you have or university degree do you have? And then if there are any mentors or experiences that influenced your career. Why is this so important? Because if you have invested into a mentor or a coach yourself and you got very successful, we can utilize that story of you investing into a mentor or a coach on your profile as well, so we can handle the objections of other people watching your videos, knowing that, okay, if I invest into a coach, if I invest into a mentor, maybe our client, for example, then I will actually be able to succeed because this guy is living a crazy life. This guy, I mean, in this case, you, has lived an amazing life, and partially because he invested or she invested into a coach or a consultant, right? Then when did you start your first business? And especially important, what motivated you to do so, right? What was the pain inside your body and the pain inside your head that caused it for you to start a first business, right? And to start a business in general. Because if we can go deeper into the story of you grinding away behind your laptop, getting your first e-commerce sale, getting your first close in as a closer, getting your first agency client as an agency, or getting your first big win with Forex, then those are very beautiful stories and also peak moments within your life that we can share with the audience, because your audience can resonate with this. And if your audience resonates with this, it's easier for them to buy from you and buy from you and your offer over anyone else within the market, right? So when did you start your business and what motivated you to do so? Just gonna fill out a quick answer. And then we go into the next question. Can you briefly describe the first business that you started? This is where you can just simply describe the business that you started, how you got successful, how long it took for you to get actual results. Maybe it was e-commerce, it took you 6 months to generate $1 million every single month with your e-com store. Maybe it took you way longer and you had to invest more into yourself and into coaches before you actually got results, right? Important for us to know so we can even dive deeper into your story. Then, how much money did you make from your business? Very important for us to know, because we want to know if you are a high-level entrepreneur, if you are a mid-level entrepreneur, or if you're just getting started. Because based on these 3 different things, we know exactly who we want to speak to when we are creating the content to attract your ideal client profile. If you are a beginner entrepreneur, you can't really sell an offer about scaling businesses and scaling e-com stores and scaling sales reps, right? You need to have a lot of experience in order to call yourself somebody that can actually scale an offer or scale a business. So as a beginner, we don't want to focus on that, and we want to know how much money you made from your first business, so we know in what bucket you kind of fit, and we know exactly what kind of audience we want to speak to with the content that we create. Then, how many businesses have you started or scaled since then? Maybe you are a multi-entrepreneur, and that will even be crazier, because then we can even speak to a bit of a higher quality ICP than, for example, the people who are only running one business at a time, right? So also very important question for us to know. And then, what do you consider your biggest professional achievement? What is the biggest thing that you have achieved? Is it a Shopify award? Is it another award? Is it just making money in general? Is it investing into yourself? Is it paying off your parents' debt? Is it paying off your parents' rent? Whatever the case might be, it can be something personal, financial, spiritual, or something that has something to do with your health. It doesn't matter, but we want to know what your biggest professional achievement is, because this will also tie into your offer and the content that we're creating. Then, have you received any rewards or recognition or notable accomplishments? Think again about Shopify awards or maybe ClickFunnels awards, whatever the case might be. We want to know exactly if you had any awards, so we can look into this and dive deeper into what you've done in your life and the results that you have gotten. Then, pivotal moments, and this is probably one of the most important questions within our onboarding form, because we want to know the turning points in your life. We want to know the bad ones. Maybe your mom died, or your father died, or your parents got divorced, or maybe you got super sick at some point. But we also want to know the good ones. This is when I got my first sale. This is when I hit my first $1 million. Whatever the case might be, we need to know all pivotal moments, because these are the moments where we can really play into the pain point of the ICP that is watching your videos, right? And the more we can play into their pain, and the more we can play into their head, then the better the content will convert, and the better the content will generate us followers and eventually also leads that we can sell the offer to, right? So this is something that needs to be answered as in-depth as possible in order for us to really create and make that turning point inside the content strategy. Now, what do you currently do? Of course, we want to know what kind of business you run, how much money you're making, what kind of team do you have, what is your vision, what is your goal, just for us to know where do we want to move towards if we start working together, and also what is most valuable to you that we can help you with, right? Then some basic answers. Where do you currently live? How do you spend your free time outside of work? Also good for us to know, are you more into gym, more into spirituality, more into yoga, more into cooking, eating, whatever the case might be. We want to know exactly what kind of person you are, so we can create content as if you're writing the content completely yourself, right? And then of course the future goals and personal life and business goals. Do you want to have 5 kids, have a house in Italy, or do you want to have just no kids, no wife, and travel the world in Colombia? It can be anything, but we need to know it in order to create the best content. Then of course, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? And then what are 3 words that best describe you? Driven, creative, authentic. So we can know what kind of tone of voice to use within the scripts that we're making. Are you very aggressive, very direct, very confident, or are you a bit more chill, a bit more spiritual? Whatever the case might be, we need to know exactly what it is. So if you could give one piece of advice to someone starting in your industry, what would it be? Important question as well, because with a question like this, we can speak directly to the viewers online and tell them this important message, tell them this one piece of advice that our client would give them. And our clients are most likely high successful entrepreneurs that already have done hundreds, if not millions a month in revenue with a business model, whether that be sales, e-commerce, coaching, consulting, doesn't matter. They are high-level entrepreneurs, so people will take advice from someone like this, right? So we want to give this advice to the people that we want to target, which is their ICP. Important question. The more in-depth people can write this out, the better it will be for us to create the right content. Then, what personal values or beliefs guide your business decisions? Also a personality trait, right? Something that we need to know, what kind of personality do you have? And then here, boom, what does your ideal client profile look like? We want to know exactly what your ideal client profile looks like because we want to speak directly to these kind of people within the scripts that we're making. Because if we have clarity on your ideal client persona, then we can write content that will speak to them, that will trigger them, that will touch them, and that will shift their beliefs into thinking that they, your ideal client profile, they need to work with you and become a client for you, right? That is our goal. Our goal is not to go viral. Our goal is not to generate views, but our goal is to generate you followers that you can actually convert for your product or service. Cool. Very important question. The more in-depth you can write this out, the better it will be. Then name 3 creators in the same niche that you look up to so we can kind of get an understanding of the look and feel of the brand that you want to create. Do you want to have it more abstract or a bit more free, a bit more dark or a bit more light? We can easily figure this out on the onboarding call as well that we will have after this form, but we want to kind of have a good idea of what you like in terms of branding and editing style so we know exactly that we can create the right videos for you. Then what are the core values your personal brand stands for? This can just be a couple of words, or it can be a very long story about what your real personal brand needs to stand for. Then, what problems or pain points does your ideal customer have? One of the other most important questions again, guys, because the more problems you know, the more pain points you know, the more you can touch on them in the content that we create for you, the better you can speak to your ICP, the more ICP you will attract to your personal brand, therefore the more ICP you can convert into a sale. So what problems or pain point does your ideal customer have? This needs to be written out as in-depth as possible, and you need to be able to dream the problems or pain points of your ideal client customer, because if you don't, then you simply don't know what kind of content to create and how to speak to the audience to actually make money with your personal brand. Then what transformations or results do you help your clients achieve? Pretty simple, straightforward. I help people who are doing 50K per month with e-commerce to $1 million a month with e-commerce. I help people lose 10 kilograms in 90 days. I help people get more clarity and more focus through meditation, something like this. But also the more in-depth you can write this out, the better. You can even have a full document of your offer uploaded inside this box here. So we know what your offer is and what you actually help and transform your client with. And you can also upload a few client testimonials here as well, right? Then why do your customers choose you over any other option within the market? And this is where you have to explain how you differentiate yourself from anyone else within the market, so we can use that as a lever, right? By being unique, by being yourself, by not being like anybody else, you create leverage over anyone else within the market that we can utilize in the content to attract more people to your page. So another very important question. And as you can see, guys, 37 questions. If you really have to answer these questions in depth, it's gonna take you maybe an hour to 1.5 hours to fill them out. But if you do this once, you have so much clarity about your life, about your ideal client profile, about the people you want to attract and the offer that you want to sell, that you never have to do this again. Unless, of course, you want to do a complete business change. But super important that you do this, especially if you want to build a personal brand. Then any key moments or stories from your journey that would be compelling to share. Just random information, maybe something that's called peak life, a very beautiful moment, or maybe a very sad moment in your life. And then a couple of random questions about what KPIs you want to focus on, followers, leads, revenue, whatever the case might be. That way we know within the content we shouldn't be aiming to go viral, but we should be aiming to attract high quality followers to your page. If your goal is, of course, to create revenue. If you just want to get views, we can focus on going viral. And if the quality of the views don't matter, then we will change the strategy according to that. Then, of course, we want to know your competitors, because we want to do a lot of competitive research on the people that are competing with you, so we can become better at them and we can take their winning formats and make better formats of those winning formats to actually get you above those competitors, right? Because at some point you don't want to be competing with anyone, you just want to be within your own lane and being the best within your own lane. Now, anything else about your life or story that's important to us, for us to know? Also, just a quick question to get even a better insight on your life. Anything that's worth mentioning, anything family-wise, money-wise, health-wise, mental-wise, whatever the case might be, we want to know everything. Then this is where you gotta link as many coaching calls, consulting calls, and course modules so we can use them as well and get a better understanding of your offer, the way you train people, the way you help people, the way you help your clients or get results for your clients. Because the more we understand your offer, the more we understand how you help people with transforming from point A to point B, the better the content we can create about the value that you have to provide to your audience. Now, That is when the intake form is being completely finalized, and that's where we move on to the next section, right? So then you will say, got it. Either you paid on a sales call or you've already paid by paying through the contract. Then this is where you can go ahead and book your kickoff call, right? This is a very important part of the onboarding process as well. It will be with either me or my business partner, and we will dive even deeper into the answers of the onboarding form, because you can fill out the questions, but we want to dive deeper into these questions and get to the true core of the answers that you wrote down in the onboarding form, so we can make the perfect brand strategy and story brand for you, all right? Now this is where you're just gonna simply book the call. I'm just gonna put some random information here. All right, so now you're gonna book the onboarding call, and once you have filled out all your information, you schedule the event, and then you're gonna click I've booked. And this is where you can create your account, right? So you wanna create an account for Agency Base. This is our own in-house software that we have completely built it ourselves with our own in-house operations team that has been creating this over the last couple of months, right? So once done, you're gonna create your account. You're gonna save your passport, and then this is where you can go to your account. So once the account is all up and running, you're gonna simply log into your account, and then I'm gonna walk you through the software that we have created ourselves that keeps track of everything that's going on within your Instagram account or social media account. So once you're signed into Agency Base, and I'm gonna use one of our clients here as an example, you can see your dashboard here. You can see the exact content pipeline for every single piece of content that we are working on for you. Think of ads, think of the ideation that we're making, think of long form videos that need to be done, think of short form videos, as you can see here. Also the different statuses that we use in order for you to understand what's going live on your profile, where you can easily approve videos, and then as soon as they are approved, we will take over the posting for you and make sure everything gets posted. Same for the stories, same for the thumbnails, same for the VSLs that we're making for you. But then these stats, and this is probably my most favorite board, because this is the numbers, right? This is where we can actually see how well we are doing for you and the results that we are getting for you. As you can see, very consistent growth with this client when it comes to total amount of followers. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we track it all for you, so we know exactly that what it is actually working. And then we have the same for the ads performance, where we can see exactly how much ad spend there was. But one of my most favorite boards is the leads board, right? And this is all something that you can see as soon as you connected your accounts to Agency Base after the onboarding with us on the onboarding call. Because here we can see exactly how many leads were generated in the last 30 days, how many leads were won, and how much cash collected we have done in the last 30 days as well. All these leads are being tracked with inside our own software through the power of ManyChat connected with our own software. So you can see exactly how much money you are making from the content that we are posting for you. Now we're updating this main overview dashboard still at the moment. Probably it will be done today, to make sure you get a clear overview of everything that's going on one page, but you can also navigate to the sub pages that we have for you on Agency Base. That being said, this is pretty much the whole onboarding flow, right? As soon as you are fully onboarded inside Agency Base, we finalize the onboarding call, the contract is signed, and the form is filled out. We are gonna dive deep into creating your strategy, creating your story brand, creating the first ideation for you to film, so we can attract as much high quality followers to your page in the next 30, 60 to 90 days, so we can actually start converting people for a sale, for your product or service. So if you want to work with us, this is already a quick insight of what it will look like. You can simply shoot me a message on Instagram with any questions you might have. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to potentially working with you guys. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.